If you've been here with me from the beginning of my channel, you will recognize where I am filming from. I am back at my parents' this week. I am dog sitting, so you're probably gonna see at least a couple of videos from me from this location. I also have no ring light here and it's gloomy, so the lighting is what it is. We are back with the second installment of this video. I did this video last year. So in 2023, not in 2023. Did I say that? 2022. So last year I ended up reading 203 books. We have a one sentence review of every single one of those books. So I am not going to keep going on an intro because I have 16 pages of notes on my little Google Doc sheet. So we're just gonna jump right on in here, and they're just going in order of reading order that I read them. And Scene, Ecstasy by Katie Rose. This started my year out toxic, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Bittersweet Surrender by QB Tyler. A woman going to marriage counseling with her husband only to cheat on him with their marriage counselor. Amazing, dazzling, obsessed. Spring Semester by QB Tyler. I am just not a friends to lovers kind of girly. Forget Me Not by QB Tyler. The angst in this one quite literally almost killed me. Kingdom Bash by Sarah J. Maas. This was a reread, and this is the only book that is close to 1,000 pages that I will read multiple times and love it every single time I reread these 1,000 pages. Carnage by Sarah Bailey. Everyone wants to take each other down, but they also want to all tie each other up, if you know what I mean. Bittersweet Addiction by QB Tyler. I was really worried in this one that it would fall flat because there was no more cheating or forbiddenness to their romance, but this gave such a deeper insight to both of these characters and their struggles, and it was so beautiful and blew me away, and it actually ended up being my favorite out of the duet. Bittersweet Love by QB Tyler. I am once again asking, where are all of these people getting hot coworkers? Where? I want to know. Merciless by Willow Winters. Bland, boring, and definitely not a Beauty and the Beast vibe, quite literally whatsoever. Twisted Hate by Anne Huang. Josh Chen. I did not know that you had some of those moves, and when you pulled some of them out, I was living. Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This book is a prime example of a reason why I struggle with thrillers, because even if the story itself is interesting and keeps me invested, the twist can kind of ruin it all for me. The Words by Ashley Jade, one of the first books that I read this year and stuck with me through the entirety of the year, and is by far my favorite rock star romance I've ever read. Manacled by Senlin Yu. I don't care whatsoever about Harry Potter, but this fanfic is quite literally everything and more to me. It changed me as a person. Thin Ice by Cassie Mint. I'm always down for a coach athlete book, y'all know. Him, the official biography of Avicii by this author. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but this really felt like closure to me and just gave such a great insight into Tim, who was the man behind Avicii, and it was beautiful but heartbreaking, and I really miss Avicii. Hunting Adeline by H.G. Carlton. So freaking good, so much darker than the first book, but I absolutely loved Addie's character. Excuse you, sir. And Zayd, of course, is just chef's kiss amazing. Okay, The Ritual by Chantal Tessier. Toxic, messy, and super hot. And honestly, I couldn't ask for anything more. The Mindfuck series by S.T. Abbey. I am lumping all of these together because honestly, the five of them all kind of blur together, but I support women's wrongs as much as I support women's rights, and I am a Lana Myers stan until the day that I die. Barbarian Mind by Ruby Dixon. Any romance that starts out with the hero knocking the heroine unconscious and stealing her away, I'm hooked. The Devil by Ashley Jade. Okay. All right. Wow. Unteachable by Leah Rader. I loved this story, but the hero unfortunately does have the same name as my brother, and it's just kind of hard for me to get past that. Too Late by Colleen Hoover. If you love Colleen Hoover books and you want to try reading this one, but you are not a dark romance reader, I 12 out of 10 would not recommend for you to read this. But if you are a dark romance reader who doesn't like Colleen Hoover's other books, then go ahead and give this one a shot. Always Been You by QB Tyler. QB, I am still screaming about this book. I truly don't even have a one sentence kind of review for it. You truly outdid yourself with this one, and I will quite literally always be obsessed with James Gabrielle. So hot. Normal People by Sally Rooney. Normal people use quotation marks. The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. The hero was quite literally garbage, and in retrospect, the only thing that I liked about this book was that it was set in a Disney type setting because I'm a Disney adult. Kind of. Ice Planet Holiday by Ruby Dixon, Hallmark, but make it blue aliens. The Devil's Advocate by Ashley Jade. This was so wild. I truly had no idea who I was supposed to be rooting for while I was reading, and I really loved that. Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. I am just obsessed with this dark, piratey vibe, and it also made me love the name Ashley for a dude. I had never heard it used for a dude before, but this... Lord Ashley Cutler, where do I sign up to be your captive? Volunteer. King of Libertines by Pam Godwin. This was the novella that went with Sea of Ruin. Fine, but honestly, I don't remember what happened in this. I don't even remember what it was prequeling. I don't know. It's fine. Your Mind Tonight by Lucia Franco. Lucia, you've left me hanging. You've left me on a bit of a cliffhanger. And if it ever so pleased you, I would love to get more of Roxy and these two men. Crescent City, House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I am truly so glad that I wasn't spoiled by the ending of this book because I have never felt the need to go for a walk and just digest it as much as I needed to after finishing this book. And the wait has already felt so long for the next one. Truly by Carmel Rhodes. If a person could be a wet sock, that would be the hero in this one. The Dancer in the Masks by B. Page. The premise of this is so cool and a really interesting introduction to all of these characters and kind of the setting in the world. I really loved this whole vibe of this book. Nice Guys Don't Win by Macaulay Smelter. Nice Guys Do Win if you're Cole. Reading Curves by Name Simone. Next time I go get a tattoo, I better have an experience like Nikki did. The Never King by Nikki St. Croix. I'm honestly kind of disappointed that Peter Pan never kidnapped me on my 18th birthday because I would switch shoes with Winnie in a heartbeat. Tortured Whispers by Daniel James. I needed someone around the two of these people to just be y'all need to be so for real for 1 second because they needed someone to try to keep them in check. Falls Boys by Penelope Douglas. I just absolutely loved the bad girl, good boy vibe in this book, and seeing all the cameos of the fall away characters was it warmed my heart. Worth Every Second by Jocelyn Soto. I literally forgot that I read this book, but from what I remember about it, it was fine. Addicted to You by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This was such a great intro into Lily and Lowe's characters and just truly how far they were willing to go to protect the other one and help cover their addictions. It was just such a great start to their story. Hail by Kay Webster. I still stand by the fact that I wish that this would have ended tragically, but fine, go live happily ever after with your sister. Final Girls by Riley Sager. I actually really liked the twist in this one, so this was a thriller that kind of worked for me. Baby and the Late Night Howlers. This was my first ever Omegaverse, so it was a bit of a learning curve, and it started really strong for me, but did kind of fizzle out towards the end a little bit. The Confidence of Wildflowers by Macaulay Smelter. Now, I did not expect what happened to happen, but I love emotional destruction, so me personally, I was fine with it. A Lesson in Blackmail by Katie Robichaud. So much character development in such a short and steamy time. I really love this novella. Lessons in Corruption by Gianna Darling. So this was a reread, and I actually enjoyed this book so much more on the reread and the second time around because I think it wasn't as insta-lusty for me because I already have the full picture of King and Cress's romance. So for me, it didn't seem so wild that she was gonna go divorce her husband after just seeing this dude across the parking lot. Welcome to the Dark Side by Gianna Darling. This was another reread as well, and I still really like this one, but it is definitely not my favorite in the Fallen Men series. I'd honestly rank it towards the bottom, but I do still really like it. Hollywood Roommates by Elizabeth Briggs. This one is just an absolute hell to the no. Ricochet by Krista and Becca Ritchie. Definitely a filler book and my least favorite in the entire series. Then we have The Resurrection of Wildflowers, and in hindsight, there's really no reason for this book to exist, and honestly could have just been an extended epilogue, even if that. Good Gone Bad by Gianna Darling, another reread, and honestly, I think this is the hidden gem book in the Fallen Men series. I don't see very much hype around this one specifically, but it is one of my favorites, and truly their love story is just beautiful. Praise by Sarah Kate. Emerson, hello, I'd like to apply for a position to be your next assistant, or if you know anyone in your company that also needs another assistant. Addicted for Now by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This was the book that really drew me into Lily and Lo and made me root for them to truly make it not only for each other, but also for themselves. Like, I really, really love this one. But Kiss the Sky by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This was literally a new all-time favorite book for me. I have not a single complaint about this book, and Rose and Connor are truly the most equal partners I've ever read in my entire life, and I love them so much. I'd die for them. Sin and Discipline by Lily White. I've said it once, I'll say it again. If you've read Dark Notes and loved it by Pam Godwin, read this book. Gives very similar vibes, but not as dark, and really loved the emotional connection that these two characters had. Hot House Flower by Kristen Becker Ritchie, my other favorite in the series, and this was just so freaking good, so fun. The moment when Reich has to like run to the hospital with Daisy in his arms, like, are you joking me? Obsessed. Darling Venom by Parker S. Huntington. I overall really enjoyed this book, but I truly don't understand why it needed to be 700 pages. It did not need to be that long, and I honestly think the story would have been more powerful if it was shorter. Cherry Bomb by Carmel Rhodes. Hot British Dads for the win. Chaos by Sarah Bailey. I truly feel like 99% of their problems could be solved if the 5 of these people just sat down and chatted with each other, but I mean, I'm fine with them just doing kinky stuff instead. You're not gonna hear me complain. Wanting Mr. Kane by Shanora Williams. I also want Mr. Kane. Real Players Never Lose by Macaulay Smelter. I would also have liked in college a fake rich boyfriend who pays for my tuition and bakes me cookies. I think I would have enjoyed college a lot more if I had that. Sabotage by Chantel Tessier. The fact that I was laying by the pool in public when I was reading this prologue and got through that all with a straight face, I truly deserve an Oscar for that. Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. With a name like Wrath, I just expected him to be a little bit more wrathy. Built to Fall by Julia Wolf. This was fine, and I would definitely recommend it to you if you like no messiness and no toxicity in your romance books. Dirty Dom by Sarah Bailey. Snooze. Made for Her by Chanel Honey. 40 pages of a wife cheating with her maid and then taking her away on a luxury vacation. Yeah, go for it. Thrive by Kristen Becker Ritchie. Kind of repetitive, but I did love seeing things from Lily and Lo's point of view and getting their take on things. Addicted After All. I have never cried at a wedding in real life, but I sobbed like a little baby at this wedding. Fuel the Fire by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This book still makes me mad because Connor Cobalt, my king, Richard Connor Cobalt, deserved so much better than all these crusty ass parents that were around him and did him so dirty like that, but he handled it with grace, as I wouldn't expect him to do anything less, but I'm still angry on his behalf. Breaking Mr. Kane by Shanora Williams. If you love the like crazy ex trope, you will love this. Long Way Down by Kristen Becker Ritchie. This one was fine, but it definitely didn't live up to their first book, but I still just love Daisy and Reich's very like organic connection and like their free-spiritedness that the two of them have. Some Kind of Perfect by Kristen Becker Ritchie. There is no way that this epilogue needed to be almost as long as the Bible, but like I did really enjoy it. The Masks and the Dancer by B. Page. This one is where it lost me a little bit. I was kind of confused. Was like it's supposed to be paranormal, fantasy, contemporary. Like I was just kind of confused, and I felt like the plot got a little convoluted, but I still enjoyed the romance and like the duet as a whole. This one just kind of like left me behind in the corn maze a little bit. How Midwestern of me to just have said corn maze and not just maze. Why was corn maze in my head? Anyways, The Awakening of Ivy Leovold by Sierra Simone. Old Timey Orgy Party. All right, sick. Eyes on Me by Sarah Kate. The longer I've sat on this one, the more I've loved it. Mafia Mistress by Mila Finelli. Normally I love a hero that it can be a real asshole, but honestly I would have loved to have just pushed Fausto right off the side of his boat. Dirt by Dea Daniels. Truly one of the most wild things I've ever read, and I am not mad about it. The Dark One by Nikki St. Crow. When I watched Peter Pan as a child, I never once looked at Peter Pan and the Lost Boys and being like, okay. But these Peter Pan and the Lost Boys? Okay. My Dirty Duke by Joanna Shoup. I read this book. Sorry to this book, but if I saw you on the street, I wouldn't know a thing. An Angel for the Devil by Jessa Kane. This was my first taste of Jessa Kane, and I was warned that she was unhinged, and she definitely didn't let me down on my expectations for that. Tempt Me by K.A. Tucker. This is going to be niche, but if you've ever done the Disney College program, I think you'll like the setting of this book and the shenanigans that like all these workers kind of get up to. I think you'll see the parallels. Break Me by K.A. Tucker. The truck scene, I'm blushing. Teach Me by K.A. Tucker. The cave scene, stop it. Surrender to Me by K.A. Tucker. The shed scene, yes, sir. Loving Mr. Kane by Shanora Williams. I liked this one, but the story did go off the rails a little bit too much for me, but it was still fun. The Husband Sitter by Jessica Kane. Where can I find this posting? Like LinkedIn, Glassdoor, where? 11 Hours by Octavia Jensen. Getting stuck in an elevator is honestly a nightmare for me, so you couldn't even bribe me to be in there with like my hot enemy coworker. Not a chance. 11 Scenes by Octavia Jensen. I mean, it's quite literally just 11 different like scenarios that they want to act out, so I don't really know what else there is to say. Beautiful Sinner by Sarah Kate. This was fine, but honestly, I can't really remember anything super significant about the story or the characters at all, so like just kind of fine. Burn for Me by Sarah Kate, a bully romance, but the student is the one bullying the professor because she sent his dad to prison. Sign me up. King Camp Hunted by A. Anders. Boo, boring. Bared to You by Sylvia Day. This was a reread, and the fact that this book took place over the course of like 2 or 3 weeks, truly speechless. Give Me More by Sarah Kate. Give me less of this stupid third act breakup shit. Haven by Astra Rose. It's hot. The Stranger in Seat 8B by Nikki Castle. Once again, I'm just trying to figure out how he got her off in the middle of a plane. Handsome Devil by Sarah Kate. I am just wondering why none of my friends have hot single dads that I can road trip with out to Las Vegas. Twisted Lies by Anna Huang. I said it once and I'll say it again. If he does not speed up the torture of a man that touched you inappropriately at a party just so that way he could get to the special store to get your special salsa for your Taco Tuesday night and rush home to you, he's not the one. Reflected in You by Sylvia Day. I, again, am truly trying to understand how they hooked up in the wide open at a concert. Like, I think that was this one. Honestly, I can't remember, but I don't know. The Devil's Submission by Nicola Davidson. Lady Dom, I'll take it. Dirty First Dates, The Arcade by Harley LaRue. Yeah. It was hot. Entwined With You by Sylvia Day. I don't know what happened in this one. That was another reread. Cruel Black Hearts by Candace Wondrak. If having 2 different colored eyes was an entire personality trait, that would be the heroine in this book. Faking with Benefits by Lily Gold. Cute, but I stand by the fact that no contemporary romance needs to be like 600 something pages. Captivated by You by Sylvia Day. Another reread. I don't know what happened in this one either. One With You by Sylvia Day. Another reread. I was just happy to be done by this point. It's fine, but truly the reread of this like didn't live up to the original love that I had for these books, and I will never revisit them again. In Flight by R.K. Lilly. I do think that I was just burned out by billionaires at this point, but I am wondering, do I need to switch professions? The Lady Gets Lucky by Joanna Shoup. Literally loved this book so much, and Kit can get it. Obsessed. I'm so happy I read this. The Duchess Deal by Tessa Dare. Cuteness. Flock by Kate Stewart. Confusing as hell, but the float scene did live up to the hype, I do have to say. Dirty First Dates, The Museum. This is 40 pages of first date smut at a museum. Like, I don't know what else you want me to say. Like, there's nothing to say about it. Exodus by Kate Stewart. I am so glad and also so sad that I finally understand the Rainy Days baby reference. The Finish Line by Kate Stewart. This book honestly hurt me. Like, I genuinely felt like Tobias was hurting me personally. 24/690 by A. Dark. I honestly think I hated this book for like about the first half of it, and then the ending completely flipped everything around for me, and I ended up really enjoying. Home Game by Odette Stone. This was so freaking wholesome, but also hot. Love Lessons by Cassie Mint. I just don't think the Cassie Mint novellas are for me, even if it is student teacher. Fair Catch by Candy Steiner. I think this was the first book that I've ever read where both the hero and heroine were on the same sports team, playing the same sport together, and I loved that dynamic, but point taken off for third act breakup. Stupid third act breakup. Cold Dark Souls by Candace Wondrak. I liked the reveal in this one, but everything else kind of fell flat. Passion and Venom by Shanora Williams. Draco, you can dole out a punishment to me any day. Into the Clearwater by B. Celeste. This was a love triangle that actually surprised me with which one the heroine ended up choosing. Does It Hurt by H.G. Carlton. I don't know if this was like a bad mood and like bad slump or a bad book, but I don't know. I still don't know what this one. Distorted by Nyla K. I don't understand why slurs are still being written in books, and if you have to explain your plot twist at the end of the book, but then still say that if you don't get it, you weren't paying attention, I don't think that's good storytelling or plotting. That's on you, that's not on me. Pageant by Lilith Vincent. This was such a cool concept, but I don't think it lived up to its fullest potential. Bring Me Back by Kristen Granada. I love the mental health rep in this, but the romance was like so-so. Sweet Mercy by K.A. Tucker. I mean, I could think of worse things that you would have to do to get your dad out of prison than live with a hot millionaire for a week. Like, I wouldn't be complaining. A Court of Thorns and Roses graphic audio. So I've read ACOTAR like a whole bunch of times, but this was the first time I ever listened to the graphic audio, and this was one of the first audiobooks that I ever listened to, and I loved it. I do think that it was like a really great place for me to start, and I really love the graphic audios because it really does truly feel like a movie. Okay, so some of these kind of blend together. Gabriel Fallen by K.A. Tucker. I like some of these, I can't remember anything distinctive from these books. They all kind of blur together, and this is one of those where I can't remember anything distinctive that happened in it. Sweet Christmas by Macaulay Smelter, the cutest little Hallmark moment I've ever experienced in my entire life. Dirty Empire by K.A. Tucker. I can't remember anything distinctive from this book as well, except that I think this was the one where they went on like a bougie trip to Las Vegas, and I would also love to go on like a bougie trip to Las Vegas. Fallen Empire by K.A. Tucker. You want to kill your dad. You want to kill your dad. You want to kill your dad. We all want to kill our dads. That's this book. Out of Bounds by Lucia Franco. I will truly take any little morsel that I can get of Rhea and Kova content, and if this truly was the end, I will make peace with that, but I'm also very sad to say goodbye to them. Mercy by Sarah Kate. This book showed me that truly it's not the trope of older woman, younger man that I don't like. It's that other books have not done it as good as this one did, because I loved this book. Break for You by KB Rowe. Okay, listen, I literally ranted about this book on my stories. And here's the thing. This book frustrated the absolute hell out of me, but you know when book 2 is dropping, I'm downloading it immediately. Hush Hush by Lucia Franco. Daddy James, enough said, but also I really love the female friendship in this book. Sick Twisted Minds by Candace Wondrich. Honestly, this was so drawn out at the end, but did love the surprise little murder that Stella did at the end. That was fun. Forbidden Obsession by Regina Wade. Listen here, I can suspend my disbelief for a lot, but finding out that a random stranger that you just met that day has like hundreds of pictures of you downstairs in his basement and you don't bat an eye at that, reevaluate. A Court of Mist and Fury graphic audio. This brought a whole new experience to one of my favorite books ever, and I really loved it. Coach Me by Shanora Williams. If this is a forbidden relationship, fight it a little bit. Like, come on. Mute by ML Nystrom. I was really pleasantly surprised with this MC novella, and I really loved the connection between these two. Pen Pal by JT Geisinger. Listen, I actually did like how this book ended, but for one, it's not a romance, and two, that didn't make up for me being so bored by the first like 75-80% of this book. Lola and the Millionaires by Catherine Moon. I definitely enjoyed this one more than Baby and the Late Night Howlers, but like I don't really know why it would need to be a duet. First Comes Blood by Lilith Vincent. There is just so much unhinged behavior in just like 300 short pages. Heat Haven by Sarah Blue. It's an Omegaverse novella. It's short, hot, and to the point. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Absolutely loved this formatting of storytelling, and I cannot wait for the show. Broken Bonds by Jay Bree. I truly had such high hopes going into this series, so I'm really disappointed that it didn't work for me. Savage Bonds by Jay Bree. I still had hope that this series would turn around for me, and spoiler alert, it did not. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I still would have liked a little bit of spice in it, but it truly was such a breath of fresh air, and Magnolia and BJ are truly like electric. Priest by Sierra Simone. This was a reread, and I still wish it wasn't so insta-lusty and like insta-lovey, but I do really enjoy Tyler's struggle with religion and like all of his internal feelings regarding it. A Love Letter to Whiskey by Candy Steiner. I have never physically wanted to throw a book across the room more than I wanted to with this book. If it wouldn't have been so pretty and like a special edition, I would have been chucking it. Blood Bond by J. Bree. It was literally so frustrating that truly there was no way in hell I could go any further after this book. Flawless by Elsie Silver. This had me wondering, do I need to buy myself a pair of chaps? Brutal Intentions by Lilith Vincent. You do really have to suspend your disbelief, I'm finding, with Lilith Vincent. Oh my god, you just scared the crap out of me. Wow, okay. You truly have to suspend your disbelief with Lilith Vincent's books, but if you're able to, they're really enjoyable. My heart is legitimately racing still. Moonflower by Illyria Firethorn. Hot Graveyard Times. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. You literally cannot convince me that this book needed to exist. It didn't. Fire and Ash by Sarah Kate. I did really like seeing Thomas get his happy ending or multiple. Falter by Fiona Cole. I really enjoyed being back with Olivia and Kent because I felt like Liar wrapped really quickly, so I liked the extra time that we got with these two characters with this. In Peace Lies Havoc by Emma Jones. This book could have been like 85% more enjoyable if there would have been a family tree included in it. Losers Part 1 by Harley LaRue. Okay, I do really like this story and these characters and where things are going, but it is way too long, and even though I haven't read book 2, I still can't see why this would have needed to be a duet. Offerings by Ashley Mack. A brother's best friend hiding around campus in like a little secret society type ritual / chase, and they get it on while they do so. I'm living. Can you quite literally not lick your butt right on camera? Dirty First Dates Halloween Haunt by Harley LaRue. I just cannot do daddy kink with like a scrawny dude that's fresh out of high school. Reminders of Him by Colleen Hoover definitely delivers on the emotional damage that I come to expect from her. The Company of Fiends by Catherine Moon. Disappointing. Hollow's Grove by Lee Jacot, I think is how you pronounce it, but 2 words. Pleasure Dom. Heated Rivalry by Rachel Reed. This was great, but it definitely feels rushed at the end, and I would have loved to have seen them like head on face some of the problems that were going to be like coming their way. What Was Meant to Be by QB Tyler. Straight up hot, and I wouldn't expect anything less. Barbarian's Prize by Ruby Dixon. Honestly, I can't remember which blue alien man is in this one or like what this one is, but I do love using this series as like a palette cleanser in between all of the contemporary romances because these are just fun and very like drama-free with simping blue alien men. Daisy Hates by Jessa Hastings. Christian is about as exciting as boiled chicken, and the footnotes are a no from me. King of Wrath by Anna Huang. Solid, but it didn't measure up for me personally to the Twisted series. Little Green Vines by Britt Andrews. Hot sapphic monster smut. I'm not gonna complain. Say Yes by Lucia Franco. Unnecessary but fun. Where the Mountains Meet the Sea by A.R. Breck. Oh my god, did this book take me through the highest of highs and the lowest of lows emotionally, and it quickly became one of my favorite books. Heartless by Elsie Silver. This book had literally nothing that I like, but somehow it all worked for me, and I freaking loved this one. Kick by C.D. Rice. Just no. It Was Only a Kiss by Ashley Michelle. Murder Out of Nowhere. Like, could you not have just kept hooking up with your hot stepdad and hot stepbrother? Stalk and Stuff Her by Jenna Rose. No comment. Serpent in White by Nyla K. I am all for endings that are kind of ambiguous and leave it up to you to make your own conclusions, but this was just confusing and honestly felt like a waste of time reading it because we had just like no answers whatsoever. The Beast by Katie Robert. Meh. After by Anna Todd, this was a reread, and I do love seeing Tessa's growth and like going back to the beginning and seeing how much she changes over the course of the series. Promises and Pomegranates by Savar Miller. This was sadly underwhelming and disappointing and ultimately kind of forgettable. We Three Kings, Hark the Herald, Angels Moan by Alice May Ball. I wish that I could get this hour of my life back. I truly do. After We Collided by Anna Todd, another reread, so messy, so toxic, so good. Father Christmas by Margot Scott. Okay, this cover is unhinged as hell, but this is actually a vibe. Really enjoyed. Brutal Parents by Sophie Lark. The balls to try to kill your husband on your wedding day by eating the food that he's deathly allergic to. I'm here for it. After We Fell by Anna Todd, so unrealistic, but I still ate it up. And it was another reread. Stolen Air by Sophie Lark. Finally a book that claims to be a Beauty and the Beast telling or Beauty and the Beast inspired that actually delivers on the Beauty and the Beast vibes. Savage Lover by Sophie Lark. This was basically Dom and Letty fan fiction in my brain, and I loved it. V-Card for Christmas by Hope Ford. No comment. Vibe by Liza James. I absolutely just loved the vibe with this one. Like, the title is perfect with the book. Our vibes just aligned in this. Unwrapping His Package by Fiona Davenport. Santa Stripper and 24-Hour Love Proclamations. Not for me. After Ever Happy by Anna Todd. This was another reread. And honestly, it's probably the last time that I'm ever going to read Hardin and Tessa's love story. So it was sad to like kind of say goodbye, what I felt like for the last time. But I really loved this conclusion. Step Santa by Logan Chance. This was really solid with a sexy Santa stepbrother. I mean, what more do I need in the holiday season? Real by Kennedy Ryan. Okay. Here's the thing. This book is beautiful. It's a beautiful story, but I kind of need some of these characters to make things a little messy. Kind of mess things up a little bit, because they just handled everything like the mature adults that they are. And sometimes, or most of the time, I guess, it's on me that I don't love that as much. Coming Down Her Chimney by Shaw Hart. No comment once again. Sick Fucks by Tilly Cole. I think I found another book that made me realize that I truly do have some limits. The Game Plan by Macaulay Smelter. I truly think that if I would have read this back when I first started reading romance, I would have enjoyed it more, especially like right around like my off-campus era, but not as much now where I'm at with my reading. Haven by Rebecca Weatherspoon with a series called Beards in Bondage. I had expectations and I was severely let down. Block Shot by Kennedy Ryan. Listen, I am forever a stan of a man that hates everyone but his woman. Obsessed. And also, I did listen to the audiobook of this one, and Teddy Hamilton. Okay, sir. The Madhouse by Liza James. That cliffhanger, though, a really, really exciting start to the story, and can't wait to see where it goes. Only When It's Us by Chloe Liace. Okay, this was really good. And I know I've said before that I love when main characters interact with other characters outside of each other. Like, I like that a lot. But this one just had a little bit too much of that and not enough focus on their romance for me. And finally, the last book that I read in 2022 was Something in the Way by Jessica Hawkins. And I am already just so frustrated by this series, and I'm only done with the first book. Okay, I truly hope that I didn't miss one when I was scrolling through my list, because like it was just, kind of like it was a lot. So I hope that I didn't miss one. But anyways, if you made it to the end with me here, gold star for you. Thank you so much. And also, I just want to say again, if you're at the end with me here, just if you have been supporting my channel for a short amount of time, long time, if you've been here since I used to record like downstairs in my bedroom here in the basement of my parents' house, thank you. If you are a new watcher, listener, thank you. Like, truly, I'm so thankful for everything that happened with my channel in 2022 and the growth that I had in 2022. And I just truly, truly, truly am so thankful for each and every person who's ever watched, liked, commented, shared, anything you've ever done to interact or watch with my videos. I truly, truly thank you. So anyways, that is it for today's video. I think my 23 books to read in 2023 video is going to be up on Tuesday next week. And I am back to my Tuesday, Friday upload schedule for the year. I know in December I was doing 3 videos a week. That's because I planned poorly and had too many end of the year videos to do. But we're going to be back with 2 uploads a week on Tuesdays and Fridays this year. So anyways, that is it for today's video. Thank you for sticking with me, and I will see you when I see ya.